40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Friday Superspeedway Truck Series here on Green White Checker TV. We have 100 laps in store for you today at Atlanta Motor Speedway, now known as Echo Park Speedway. Looking forward to the action at the high banked 1.5 mile here, shortest track on the schedule, and the shortest track here in the first round of the playoffs. We've got no graphic for you tonight for the points, just all the drivers in the playoffs that you will see. They will be all locked in at 1,000 points and competing for the first of 4 races to try and win a championship here at the end of 2025. So for myself in the booth, we've got Mr. Brandon Briggs and Stratton with us too. Looking forward to calling the action with you here tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited also. It's the playoffs. For some drivers, it's a fresh restart and get 4 more cracks at getting a championship. For some other drivers, get to learn a little bit something for next season and help a teammate out. I'm excited to get back, gave these drivers a week off, really let them rest up, and now we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. There's 12 drivers that are going to be in that field for those playoffs. Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Charles Johnson, Cody Nagels, Paul Witz, Vicente Guerrero, Joshua Highball, Adam Kilday, Les Levy, Jack Walls, Dean Wilkinson, Eric Laurie, Jim Brooks, and Keith Engstrom all ready to compete over the next few weeks for this championship. And should be just about ready to get into this one. We got about a minute left in the qualifying session. So, Brandon, before we get started here, obviously, Atlanta or Echo Park Speedway is a little bit different from obviously our Talladega and our Daytonas. Obviously, we're not running iRacing Superspeedway as much, but it is still a bit of a wild card. What is kind of the biggest thing that we really need to keep an eye on tonight, with this track being so much more different from every other track that they're really going to see for the rest of the playoffs here?
I think it's really going to be the pit road. That's where you cannot afford to make no mistakes. It's a very fast racetrack here at Atlanta. You can go two laps down really, really quickly here. And if you make a mistake, you're going to go down even more. And you get too many behind and you can't catch up. And if you start too late here in these playoffs, that'll hurt you immediately. And not only that, but making those mistakes on pit road will most likely hurt your teammates as well. So a lot at stake when you come down pit road tonight.
So for definitely being a little different than the layout, seems like playoffs or pit stops still going to be just as important as ever. So got a second or two left here in the qualifying session. So we'll see if we can bring up that grid right away and get you into where everyone's going to be starting here tonight. Giving it a second to pop up. There we go. We got it. Cody Nagels, he's going to grab that pole position. Jack Walls in that number 83 is going to be starting to his outside. Then you have Gabe Butler and Vicente Guerrero side by side on row number 2. Dean Wilkinson is going to share the third row with Dude Conrad, while Jim Duda and Paul Witt will be side by side on row number 4. To round out the top 10 starting positions, you're going to see Tom Dixon alongside Roswell Motorsports' Bud Steele, and then Justin Davis inside of Les Levy for row number 6. 13th position in the playoffs, Keith Engstrom and Robert Hooligan in the 126 to his outside. Hayden Davis is alongside Everett Lane in the 8th row, while Eric Laurie for Team Bootnaka will be inside of row 9, just inside of Adam Kilday, also another playoff driver there. David Overstreet in that number 46, making the start from 19th position tonight. Bob Fitzgerald in the 08 is just to his outside. Side by side, Joshua Highball and Gary Huffines. I believe those are 2 teammates for Silver Fox Racing there on row number 11. Then we've got Doug Webb for Team Bootnaka and Anthony Lane in that number 81 outside of row number 12. And 2 more names on the grid for you here. Robert Amaral and Jim Brooks being the only driver not to qualify, not to take a time in qualifying tonight as we get ready for these trucks to roll off of pit road and start the playoff action for the second season of 2025 here.
Yeah, boom. We see a different strategy. The 88, couple weeks, he's been choosing to start in the back. He said, nope. Right back to qualifying up front, and we see some guys up there that has some really heavy hitters. And do you think we've seen a lot of bumping and banging, as I would say, over the mix of the season? Do you think them emotions are gone, or do you think some of these drivers still have the way some of these finishes went in the back of their head and say, hey, the Atlanta, track like Atlanta, you're going to have to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we know that this one's potentially going to be more of a wild card than what we see at other, super speedway style races. And I mean, we've produced some really great racing, I think, at Atlanta so far, where there's definitely, we've talked about it all season, where the trucks seem to be a lot more stable, still edgy but stable, and we've seen some really great racing, really aggressive pushes, and I think you're going to get a bunch more of that tonight. So it should be fun, and really think they just need to keep an eye on, like you mentioned, just being a little more careful, cautious. Obviously, it's a time to rise up in the playoffs and have a good finish, but you want to make sure that you get a finish. So patience will definitely be important as always. Well, we are rolling off of turn number 4. The lights are out on the pace car. Cody Nagels will be the control truck for your initial start of the night as the pace car dives down onto pit road. And we are seconds away from the green flag flying here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's in the air. Here we go. 100 laps at Atlanta.
Cody Nagels with one heck of a start there on the bottom. That's going to allow Jack Walls to slip right in there and give Vicente the lead on the outside. Shocked to see Cody jump that far, and Vicente, maybe that could be a plan, get out there far, let those guys tuck down. But nope, Gabe's going to say, I'm going to jump to the outside. As you can see, Cody, I think that may have been the plan there, get a good start and get to the outside, but Gabe's going to be right in the middle of them.
Yeah, Gabe gets that move to the outside. He's going to be behind Cody Nagels at the moment. There's a little bit of a separation for Dean Wilkinson in the 83. The 88's going to jump back down behind them, and they're already getting a little dicey, a little contact between the 16 and the 88 down the front straightaway. Vicente Guerrero's in the mix there too, trying to figure out where he wants to go. He's going to push Cody Nagels, that teammate there, and see what they can do to get that truck back up to the front as the 83 of Jack Walls collects his bonus point for leading a lap for tonight. Dean Wilkinson's now going to try his hand in the outside lane, being pushed by the 16 and the 14.
Yeah, these drivers came to race tonight, and hey, let's give a hats off to the admins. Gave these guys a week off, said the first playoff race is going to be Atlanta. These guys right here are amped up. They are all over the place. Some really good driving here, and I think these guys are going to be this aggressive. We seen at Atlanta last time somebody blew up on Friday and Sunday. iRacing came out with that new build. Some things changed, some setups changed throughout the season. So I think these guys, this is good. Be aggressive. See how hard you can push these trucks and where you can really push the temps. So later in the race when you really got to push hard, what you can get out of these vehicles. And as good as these drivers are up here, they can do it.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that we've talked about a lot this season, especially is those temperatures in the cars and making sure that they're not overheating. Definitely seen a lot more blown motors than maybe feel like we have in the past. But yeah, definitely. Something to keep an eye on. It's always important to know, hey, how much can I actually push before it's a problem? And some of these teammates, especially at the front there, are really working to see how well they can push and how much they can push and try to prepare for those important moments in the battles that'll happen about 90 laps from now.
Yeah, and I think Gabe knew it was going to be a battle. It looks like, through my eyes, it looks like a brand new paint scheme there for the 88. Maybe throwing it back. Gonna have to bring out a little bit of that Intimidator, just a black truck with the white numbers and one logo on the front. So Gabe's switching it up a little bit here.
Yeah, fairly plain, but looks pretty good. Playing with some spec map stuff I can see there too. I mean, lots of really great trucks that we get to see, as always, from some very, very talented painters that we have in this league, and very cool to see the creativity and the the uniqueness that everyone brings to the table in their style and their sponsors and their interests. Yeah,
and the 88, he's rocked Guinness forever. And we got a big move there by the 6 of Bud Steele. I thought we was going to have a little bit of contact back there. Tom Dixon in the 411 really up on the wheel, paying attention. Everybody's safe so far. And how much longer until these guys here say, hey, let's move to the third lane. We've seen late. These guys wait until about lap 85, 90 to push the third lane, and that's when chaos happens. I wonder if somebody maybe moves up there, gets a little bit familiar, and says, hey, I'm going to be up here for this first pit stop.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if anybody's going to jump to that third lane just yet, but it is pretty dicey. I mean, you see a lot of movement side to side, some contact already. So the 88 and the 16 make a little contact, and it looked like the 6-man made a little contact there. Obviously, slid up in front of the 411 there down on the backstretch. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, these cars or these trucks seem like they are a decent handful right now, and it's obviously only going to get worse as the tires actually have a little bit of wear for a super speedway race here at Atlanta.
Yeah, and I think the wear is going to come a little bit sooner than we think because these trucks are moving. It's not like it's just a narrow straight line here. They're definitely moving around on these guys, and you can see even back there to where Everett Lane and those guys are. They're sliding coming off of turn four, getting a pretty good run. And if you keep on doing that, as you can see the 55, I thought he was going to give the 16 there a high five as they was going into turn one. But the trucks are really, really starting to push just a little bit. 9 laps in, and these drivers said when we interviewed them last time, they were really, really fun to drive here. They did move a little around a bit, but that put the truck more in the driver's hands, and that's what the drivers are like.
Yeah, it's definitely been really great to see how much these guys can control. And there you see Dean Wilkinson. He's going to actually get shuffled to the high line. Makes a little contact with the outside wall, but nothing, not too big of a deal there. And he's going to try and settle on back where he can find a hole further on back. He gets in front of Keedy Engstrom there in that outside lane. We're back to 2x2.
Yeah, and we can see it's starting to stretch out. We see these guys up here running 2x2, but further on back, we're really starting to stretch out. Some trucks up to 2 seconds behind this pack here, and if I'm them guys, you don't want to fall. I think that may be if you're playing a little safe, that's almost a little bit too safe for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, as long as you're with the pack and can remain with the pack. Obviously, we got back here Les Levy, Adam Kildare a little bit further off. Gary Huffines, Anthony Lane back here. Jim Brooks, Robert Amaral. Definitely want to make sure that these guys can catch up before the green flag pit cycle. But I mean, yeah, it's not the worst idea to. I like to be probably right about where, let's say. Eric Laurie, and especially the one behind him, David Overstreet. David Overstreet, or really Joshua Highball, that first truck, that single file. He's got the ability to move to the outside. Obviously, the 714's coming there, but he can see everything in front of him, and for the most part, he's got a gap or two, a couple truck lengths in between him and the 46. He's just kind of riding around, and honestly, depending on the point of the race, this is not a bad spot, at least for my opinion, to be in, just to kind of hang out. And if you aren't going to be able to be up at the front dicing it up and putting yourself in control of the race, this gives you a little more protection, in my opinion, to maybe avoid a little more of the chaos that could come.
Yeah, and speaking of David Overstreet, he picked up a win this season. Unfortunately, didn't make it in, but did pick up, I believe, was his first win here. So kicked the season off right. That's something to look forward in the right direction for the people that didn't make the playoffs, and for everybody watching. The scoreboard tonight looks a little bit different. The drivers highlighted in green are the playoff drivers, so we can see different strategies. Some hanging out at the back, and some being up here up front in the mix, and a little bit in between is we're 14 coming to 15 laps in.
Yeah, and 83 of Jack Walls, he gave up his spot in the playoffs to allow a few others in. I believe he's going to miss a couple of the races in the championship 4 races. But I mean, obviously he's proven that he deserved the spot that he would have earned had he not given it up. So having a really good run here so far tonight. Obviously, I mean, really doing a great job. I mean, some of the heavy hitters are right there with him. Gabe Butler, obviously, probably one of the most prolific drivers, in Area 51 history, and Cody Nagels has come back after a little bit of a hiatus this season, and I mean, at one point, I think he had like 3 or 4 wins in like a 2 or 3 week span between Fridays and Sundays, and has really been strong, especially with his teammate Vicente Guerrero there. Those guys have been running really well all season, and Jack Walls is holding his own, controlling that race from the front, right in the mix of them.
Yeah, and I mean, boom, when you see racing like this every Friday and Sunday, I mean, it makes you want to race. I can be a proud supporter of that saying. I was telling Gael a couple weeks ago, man, like just watching some of these races and some of these finishes, it gives you the itch. I mean, it's like, damn, I wish I was in that race. So hats off to not just, the guys that's up here, the 16, guys up front, but everybody that goes into these races. It takes everybody, and you never know when you're going to see an upset.
Yeah, and I mean to still be pulling 26 trucks well into the playoffs here, into the later stages of the season, it's really great to see such a big field and a lot of drivers here as we get a little bit of three wide action here, and someone stuck on the high side. It looks like that's Dude Conrad's gonna make contact with the 429. That'll be your first yellow of the night, and I think that's David Overstreet gets, or no, maybe Adam Kilday gets into it just at the back end there.
Yeah, some of those guys, unfortunately, was right in the back trying to avoid everything and just wrong spot, wrong time. As a couple of these guys up front's going to get collected as we'll look back at it.
Yeah, you see there the 429 just kind of out of space, and I believe that is the 8 of Dude Conrad. Yeah, just uh, got shuffled out to that third lane, and the 429 just didn't have enough room to give him there, and it looks like I think that was. Yeah, I think that's the 85 of Adam Kilday. We'll try and zoom in a little more. Yeah, so the 85 of Adam Kilday locks up. We'll rewind it here just a little bit just so you can see. And then you see him, yeah, locks the tires up and really nothing for him to do, nowhere to go. And he just, comes in and crunches that right front fender a little bit. And, man, that's some big implications for a playoff driver there. I believe, yeah, Paul Witt and Adam Kilday are involved there inside of the playoffs. So some implications with that first yellow of the night already.
Yeah, some of these guys are probably going to say, maybe I don't want to do this. As we could see that third lane kick in, as all these guys are going to come down and put, I would assume, 4 tires and fill this thing up, as we've seen some guys strategize and take none or 2 right here on these yellow flag pit stops. So some different things happening here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who takes 2 versus 4. Obviously, we've seen, really we've seen 4 tires from the very beginning when we first introduced Atlanta to the series with the new repave from 2022, I believe, or 2021 maybe. But we saw where tire wear was a huge difference, especially for long green flag runs. But who knows? There's definitely something to say for some of the track position that you can gain by taking 2 tires. So we'll keep an eye on everything. And it looks like I'm seeing mostly 8-second stops. So Jack Walls, Bud Steele, about 8-second stop. So that is either fuel only or right side tires. The first one taking tires is Cody Nagels. Jim Duda also took 4 and fuel. Robert Hooligan, Dean Wilkinson 4 and fuel. Gary Huffines, fuel or right side tires only. Justin Davis, and pretty much everyone on back now is grabbing 4 fresh tires, and we'll roll back on through pit road here and see. Trying to see where it's scoring. Gabe Butler's being scored in a different, interesting spot here. I'm not sure if
he's slow here on the backstretch. I don't know if he's having some maybe some sim problems or what's going on here, but the 88 is definitely truck looks like it's out of gas.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd be surprised if he can't go 20 laps on fuel, but yeah, not entirely sure what's happening here for that 88. He's getting going a little more now, but he rolled through pit lane the first time just to get fuel. Who knows? Maybe had some admin duties to do, or was just trying to. I'm not sure. Who knows? Obviously, but that's going to drop him in the back.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they had some problems there, and he was helping some guys out with some EOLs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think just some admin problem there, and got it all squared away, and these guys going to get back racing and be all good to go. As we know, the 88 he'll get right back up to the field.
Yeah, that track position will be important at some point, but there's still plenty of time to recover from that. And why don't we we'll try and take a quick commercial break before we get back going green here, and we'll be back in the action real quick.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Coming back to the green flag, Jack Walls, the control truck teammate in Bud Steele to his outside. Everett Lane is going to be towards the front for the first time for tonight. Jim Duda there in the outside in that number 33 truck. And they are 2 by 2 sailing off into turns 1 and 2 now down the backstretch.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different strategies coming out of that pit stop. So we see almost about a whole new top 10 up here. And so it makes me think how much of these guys said, hey, it's a little bit too racy, too early for me up there. As a lot of them guys decided to hang out and starting to back there. And maybe it's just to let some of these guys blow off some steam as we see the 83 lead this lap.
Yeah, Jack Walls has definitely been one of the front runners here, and like you mentioned, kind of a mix of mixing it up a little bit more. Obviously, Dean Wilkinson spent some time up here in the front, but Bud Steele was kind of around in the top 10 or so, just between 10th and like 15th for the earlier stages in that race. He goes on to take maybe 2 tires, but in potentially even fuel only there on that pit stop. But that gets in the track position to get out front, and we'll see if they can hold on to it as the 2 Roswell Motorsports teammates side by side doing everything that they can to control this race, working on lap number 24 and just about to the 1/4 mark of this one.
Yeah, some really good racing, and what I want to see is how many of these guys up here, like Keedy Ingstrom, Dean Wilkinson, how much of these guys say, hey, we're up here, let's get some bonus points. Why these guys ain't up here, because we know how aggressive the 88 and those 16 are. They talk about we want to lead every single lap. So how many of those guys think, hey, let's get up here, let's snag a bonus point while we got some teammates and some non-playoff drivers up here. Maybe they won't race us as hard. You never know. I would take a shot, and maybe try to sneak a bonus point in here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Everett Lane's definitely hoping to grab a bonus point or two to lead a lap if he can here, as obviously he is the front runner right now inside of the playoffs, and then Keedy Ingstrom in that 64 fourth truck in the inside row. Got to go back to the 55 of Dean Wilkinson now in the 9th position, 4th car in the outside lane, as that outside lane loses a little bit of momentum to the bottom. And everyone else, you see that big pack from 15th to 20th. All the playoff drivers are a little bit further on back. You see Nagels, Brooks, and Levy all towards the back now. And so during that last caution, we saw Adam Kilday, Vicente Guerrero, and Anthony Lane take a little bit of extra time on pit road. So did Robert Amaral, and then obviously Dude Conrad had to burn that fast repair for him there. But we are still rolling. Every truck is in this race, and as I say that, looks like we noticed that Dude Conrad has actually fallen off of the pace, off the pack here, and he actually came down and he came down and pit the second time, it looks like, under caution there, but for whatever reason, still some issues there potentially for Dude Conrad after that initial contact in that first caution.
Yeah, do you think maybe no fast repair here? Maybe he tried to save a fast repair and not thinking that's maybe kind of what it looks like to me. The truck looked like on the back end maybe still had a little bit of damage. Could have just been the design of the truck, but tough break there for Dude Conrad. And what's really odd to me is them guys that dropped all the way to the back here at Atlanta. Stuff goes so fast in a little bit of space. Some stuff, even there with the last caution, we seen some guys in the back get caught up in it. I don't even know here at Atlanta if that's the safest spot. I think Jack Wallace has the safest spot right now.
Yeah, if you can't be, the first 3 or 4 trucks, I think, in your line, I think you're almost safer being that first truck that's, behind the 2 wide action or 3 wide or whatever it happens to be on track. But, so far, so good. Obviously, we saw a little bit of 3 wide shuffle and some issues there into turn number 1 to bring out that first yellow. But for the most part, it's been a pretty straightforward race. And these laps can click off really fast, as you mentioned there, Brandon, because you're running sub 30-second laps for a 1.5 mile track. That is pretty quick. And the sensation of speed here is, in my opinion, so much higher than what you'd see at Daytona, mostly because of the radius of the turns and how much tighter those turns are. So, the corner comes at you a lot quicker, and we do have a yellow further on back, and we'll see if we can break down exactly what happened here. A couple trucks looked like they were in the outside wall, and we'll rewind it here and see what happened. The 411. Yep, 411, 3 wide. Tom Dixon gets into the wall this time, and that is going to bring out that yellow there. Gets into David Overstreet a little bit. Oh, Gabe Butler is that 88 truck involved as well. The 411 with some heavy contact to the outside wall. Thankfully, they got it rolling by then, but obviously at that point the caution was already thrown. And I mean, that 411 truck doesn't look too worse for wear. The 88 doesn't look too bad either for that kind of contact there, Brandon.
Yeah, that that trial has caught a couple of these guys. It sneaks up on you quick, and Gabe Butler definitely had his hands full as I rode on board with him there. Wow, a lot of stuff happened really quickly, and to be able to keep that truck straight is probably the best situation, man, because that was definitely tough. And if I'm him, I come in and I use a fast repair. That damage to that nose of that truck, I do not take any risk here in this playoff race.
Yeah, and I think obviously Dude Conrad's not in the playoffs, but I think he's going to be trying to do the same thing here, coming down pit road to get some a fast repair and some service. His last pit stop was only 4.7 seconds, so a lot shorter than what we would have expected here. But you see, most of the leaders are going to come down pit road. Hayden Davis and Justin Davis are going to stay out along with Paul Witt, Cody Nagels, and Vicente Guerrero. They're going to try to stretch the fuel a little bit longer here, and we'll see how it all shakes out before we go to a commercial break. But yeah, so at this point, are you still thinking that 4 tires is probably the best scenario for some of these drivers there, Brandon, or do you want to try to have that track position to be one of those first trucks in the first inside or outside lane?
No, I'm pretty sure it went over Cody Nagels and Vicente's channel, those guys' channel. Hey, stay out. We can't. We just talked about it. That happened right back there again, and you cannot afford to be up there or be back there and have nowhere to go, just like Gabe, nowhere to go right there. So use the strategy you're used to. Get up front and lead this race.
All right, so looks like Vicente Guerrero is going to be the last car not to pit here. Robert Hooligan leads them off of pit road with a 5.98 second pit stop, so likely fuel only. Jack Walls, 7.68, so fuel only, maybe right side tires. Then we see Everett Lane, Jim Duda, Bud Steele, David Overstreet, most likely right side tires. You got to go all the way back to Gary Huffines before you can see a 14-second pit stop, which means 4 tires and fuel for that 00 Toyota. And we will be right back after a word from one of our sponsors. Alrighty, we are through the pit cycle here. A couple trucks coming back down pit road, trying to get some extra fuel here. That's going to be led actually by Keedy Ingstrom. Gabe Butler's coming around the speedway. Joshua Highball came back down for some more fuel. So did Robert Amaral, Bob Fitzgerald, and Anthony Lane. Hayden Davis is going to be the leader now with his cousin Justin to his outside. Just behind him is going to be Paul Witt, one of those involved in that first caution, and currently your front runner in the playoffs. Cody Nagels in the outside row in 4th, and Vicente Guerrero inside in row number 3. We'll see how soon that 14 and that 16 try to get connected there, as we'll have to wait and see what happens with the 126 and everybody on back who has fresh tires and fuel and ready to rock and roll as we're past the 1/3 mark of this race. Pace car dives back onto pit road. 19 control truck for the first time tonight, and green flag back out on the speedway.
Yeah, good start there by the 429 and the 19, getting right to his bumper and getting a good push here. If the 10 and the 19 can get hooked up, they ran some pretty fast times in practice. They were at the top of the board together for a long time of practice, and so they can get some speed going around here. As we can see, Cody Nagels has already made his way right back up to third, and Vicente following. So these guys, just like we talked about, get to the front. And don't be anywhere where you can get the damage. If your teammate's pushing you, it's unlikely that he's going to turn you, and maybe just avoid the chaos that way.
Yeah, indeed. It's definitely helpful to have some friends up there. You saw that 14 tuck in there with the 16, and that second lane starting to creep a little bit further forward now as they come through turns 1 and 2. The 10 now pushing the 429 as Hayden is out front leading that inside lane there.
Yeah, what a good move here by Hayden, getting up here, getting him some experience. This is his rookie season. His cousin Justin was a rookie with us last season. Brings over his cousin, and what a moment, to be up here front leading this race. And I've been in his shoes. I've been a young guy up here running with these guys, and this is where I got my first win in these trucks. So I tell you what, it's fun, but at the same time, you're thinking through your head, I don't mess up, please. Just you don't want to be that guy, but the confidence it builds in yourself while you do run up here, and you can run lap after lap, like you said. These are fast laps, so the more laps you can turn up here, it builds your confidence, and ain't nothing more better than a confident driver. So. And he's got one of the greatest behind him pushing him, so he knows he's not going to get a bad push in a bad spot or anything. So this is exactly what the 19 and the 10, that team needs. Be up here up front running with these guys.
Yeah, definitely. They get the track position from the pit stop there, but they're holding their own so far. Obviously, the 429 gets ahead of the 10, and the 16 and the 14 they're lined up now behind the 19. We'll see. I think the 16 and the 14 would love to be the ones actually in control of this race at some point, but they're very good at being patient, and we'll see them take their opportunities where they can, where they arise. But a good, strong showing for the 19 and the 10, the cousins of the Hayden and Justin Davis group for, a pretty solid night so far.
Yeah, and we brought up here at the beginning of the show, we had a little bit of rivalry going on there with the 24 and the 14, and what do you know, they're right here up here, right back up front, these two battling for it. They put on one heck of a show a couple races ago, and if anything, if this race keeps going, they're starting to move their way back up there. Gabe was I seen climb back up here. These guys starting to get back up here as we're almost halfway through this race, and now you really got to think, what do you think? Maybe one more stop from here, two more stops? How do you start to plan this, Boom?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you get 60 laps to go, so I think we're looking at least two more stops. Going to be interesting to see. Obviously, pretty much everybody in the top five. Everybody in the top five were the ones that pitted on lap 19. So the previous caution, and then Robert Hooligan leads that pack of everyone who is further on back. So have to see as this run progresses if there is any bit of a difference in that tire wear. As you see, so Justin Davis, obviously most of these guys pitted for 4 tires in this first group that stayed out, and then some of the fresher tires are further on back. I think the first one on fresh tires from that last pit stop is actually Gary Huffines back in 12th place. So as this run progresses, we'll have to see if there are any differences in that tire wear. But so far, pretty quiet. Obviously, we had a couple incidents, 2-3 car incidents so far. One with Paul Witt getting involved with the 8 of Dude Conrad. Paul Witt already back up to the 3rd position, now 2nd, as they sail it off into turns 1 and 2, back to 3rd. And a pretty good recovery from there, and obviously we saw the issue with the 411 of Tom Dixon about 10 laps ago, and he collected Gabe Butler, and those guys are starting to slowly move back up through the pack in 15th place, and Gabe Butler's in 13th at the moment, and Cody Nagels is back to the lead after starting on the pole for tonight.
Yeah, and one guy making his way up here, like you said, he was first car off pit road, so when these guys come, oh man, it's getting squirrely up here. Up towards the front here with the 429 and a 19, but the 126, Robert Hooligan, hey, he's already snuck in a win this season also. So he's hungry, and he will be once these guys decide to come make their pit stop. If it is under green, it looks like he would take back over the lead. So another good showing there for the 126 is like I said, I've been keeping an eye. The 88, he's made his way back up to 12th, and I see the 24 out there. He's waiting on a teammate.
Yeah, most of his Team Bodnaka teammates are a little bit further on back. Eric Laurie, Dude Conrad are hanging out there about 17th and 18th at the moment. Gabe Butler starting to dice his way back up into the top 10 already. There you see him in that all-black truck in the outside lane, about 5 trucks back. Not to be confused with the all-black truck of the 429, who is leading this lap and the outside lane.
Yeah,
ooh, little high.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to have to stay up there. You're going to have to eat that one now, Justin. You got up there. Be careful. I think they're doing the right thing. They're letting it bounce off the wall. As you can see, even sometimes he even turned it a little bit of right. That's a super unselfish move there by the 10. Made a mistakes and just ate it. I would have definitely, with his pit situation, I'd have came down right there and now wasted the damage. But tough break there for the 10 but that was a super unselfish move by making sure he kept it up there against the wall. And that is tough to do here at Atlanta as the wall, as you can see here on the trioval, it curves out in multiple different spots.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, very, very kind move for Justin to hold it into the wall and sacrifice himself and thankfully not anybody else. But man, it's crazy how much that short shoot between the trioval and turn 1 has been such a issue for everybody here tonight. We've seen obviously it's 3 incidents now caused from that short shoot, and you can see where the lines go away. Obviously, you've got 3 or 4 dotted lines in on the front stretch through that trioval, and then you get to turns 1 and 2, the back stretch, and 3 and 4, and they've only got the 2 dotted painted lines, so about 3 lanes or so of racing. Even though it's about 40 foot wide, which is the same as Daytona, we mentioned, because the track is so much shorter, it really makes a difference. But you can see how much wider it gets. I mean, you add like 2 or 3 extra lanes, and then you have to make sure once you get into that short shoot into turn 1, it funnels back down, and you have to get aligned and be ready to go and find a hole to fit into.
Yeah, as you can see here, Hayden, it looks like he's going to come down and just knock out his pit stop here. Looks like he could push it as far as he was, and maybe that was a good move there by Cody, saving that fuel so he could go an extra lap. Hayden was out there leading, used a little bit more fuel, so this is a sign, though, that those other guys should be close to coming down.
Yeah, that was about 31, 32 laps or so. We'll see. Cody Nagels has also won that pit on the last pit stop as the 10, or the 19 there. So curious to see. Obviously, 19 is going to come down. I think Justin came down a lap 47 to get service, so I think Hayden might be trying to catch up to him to help him out a little bit here. And we've got a caution on the field. We just missed it. And something through maybe turns 3 and 4 as we see Cody Nagels already coming down pit road here. We're going to rewind that one, the 14 potentially involved. We'll just take it back to the point of caution and see what we can see here. Okay, so there we go. That's why those guys were coming down to pit road. You see the 00 getting spun into turn 3 at the moment that some of these cars are trying to come down pit road. And man, you see big contact for the 46. The 071, really good job checking up to not get any damage on the front of that Chevrolet. And then you see the 411 of Tom Dixon involved in the second caution in a row, unfortunately. And 77 pops back up after a connection hiccup there, but that was a big lick for the 00 there, Brandon.
Yeah, what's really going to be interesting is the time of caution, because the commitment cone is back there at the entrance of turn 3. And if the 16 and those guys had already, we can see here, the caution's not out. They have hit that commitment cone. So I wonder if iRacing allows them to still hit that pit stop. If it does, they're going to be able to get their pit stop out of the way and be the leaders, because I would assume most of these guys come back in and top back off. If not, these guys are going to not only drop to the back because of their positioning, but if everybody comes to pit road, they're going to be stuck in the back also. We'll get it all figured out when we come back from commercial.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Alrighty, lights are back off on the pace car, and we are lined up 2 by 2 once again. Pretty much everybody coming down pit road here. Justin Davis stays out. Obviously, he pit last on lap 47, so I think that's going to put him back on the lead lap, actually. So he gets to take the wave around there, and Hayden Davis gets the lucky dog. So thankfully for both of them, they should actually be back on the lead lap, it looks like here. After that caution, and I think we see Tom Dixon. I think, yeah, he's going to be the only truck that is one lap down at the moment. So some drivers climbing the ladder pretty well at the front of this field. Everett Lane is up 15 positions from his starting position. Doug Webb is up 21. Gabe Butler there in the 4th spot. He did start 3rd, but Robert Hooligan is up 10 spots, actually 11 spots, as he'll be shown in that 3rd position. And Everett Lane will be the control truck as pace car gets ready to fly down pit road, and we will be green momentarily.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see if Everett does the same thing Cody did here, get a nice good launch here and jump right there to that outside lane and get around some teammates there and get a good start here as these guys are back underway. And now I wouldn't be surprised now if he hops up there to the outside lane and gets there with his teammates of Doug Webb and the 88 of Gabe Butler's. Robert Hooligan, we was talking about this. He's right up there, and he's working his way right back up to 2nd now. Going to try to get in here and take another one away from these guys.
Yeah, Robert Hooligan having a pretty solid season for himself. Doug Webb is up there running with his teammates, Gabe Butler and Everett Lane, obviously in the playoffs and doing what they can to control that outside lane at the moment. And we'll see. I'm curious to see once the 714, if he can get up alongside the 126, does the 24 go with those teammates and stay on the high side, or does he stick to the 126 where they can control both lanes potentially?
Yeah, I mean, it's what it's so tough, on what your strategy is this early. But I tell you, one guy, he's had a bad night. He's had some unfortunate breaks at the wrong place at the wrong time. But right now, the 46 of David Overstreet, he's found his way right back up there to 8th. Boom.
Yeah, not a bad run. Had a couple run-ins with some of the cautions we've had. None of his own doing, just not able to get slowed down enough to not make a little bit of contact in some of the yellows. But yeah, I mean, to recover and be in the 9th position there, not a bad place to be. And one thing we do have to mention, Paul Witt, he is going to come down for an unscheduled pit stop, so likely a penalty there for that 429. So he's going to be one lap down, probably 2 by the time the field catches back up to him, and that is going to be some major implications for him and his playoff for the season.
Yeah, but you know what this race has shown all race here has been some excitement. So I would not think the caution flag maybe is too far away, as anything can happen. As we've seen one, I think it's been about an average of about every 12 laps, and I don't know how long that comment's been over there by Quabi, but it's definitely been an exciting one. And if you just got here, it's definitely been wild. As that outside wall and the tri-ovals really got these guys. As we can see some guys like the 714 there. He's decided, I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna go to the back.
Yeah, it gets out to that third lane and safely exits there, goes on further back, says you guys can hang out there as Vicente Guerrero gets a little high off of turn number 4 and makes some contact with that outside wall. This tri-oval can be very treacherous here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it's definitely tripped up a lot of competitors so far tonight. I mean, obviously we've seen pretty much all of our incidents in yellows have come from that spot of the track, except for the last caution, obviously coming just at the pit entry there off of before turn number 3. But we are rolling green flag, working on lap number 59, and with a lap count of 51, so under the last yellow, where pretty much everybody came down. A couple people, Justin Davis came at lap 47, Hayden Davis came at 49 just before the caution. They both get back onto the lead lap there. But pretty much for everybody at this point, I think it's still probably a 2-stop race. I don't think anybody will be able to stretch the field from there, so it should be a pretty easy 2-stop. But it'll be interesting to see if anybody tries to run this segment longer, or if anybody tries to short pit as soon as that window opens. Because I think within about 10 laps or so, 10 to 15 laps, we should definitely be getting to that window to be able to pit and go all the way to the end.
Yeah, and it's going to be a crucial one, especially if it's under green. This could be the most important, with it being the last one. You don't want to see any mistakes. But do you think we even make it to a green flag pit stop? Boom. These guys have been amped up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it yet. I'd love to see it. But I mean, there really still has been some pretty great racing. We haven't really gotten to see a lot of the strategy. I mean, track position still has been pretty important. And obviously you see a couple guys like Gabe Butler getting back up to the front of this pack. And I mean, we've definitely seen some drivers cycling through, the lead and everything and whatnot up at the front of the pack, but a lot of it's really just been track position and, making the right calls on pit lane and stuff like that. And obviously Keedy Engstrom is having a really strong night. He's the second of our playoff contenders at the moment here. He's getting a good push from Gabe Butler in that high lane, and we've got 4 of the 5 drivers in the top 5 in the playoffs, and a couple more sprinkled further on back, but obviously you see Dean Wilkinson there about 2 seconds off of the lead, but still in that lead pack. So really the only one with too many major concerns at the moment is Paul Witt, having to come down for that unscheduled pit stop again, likely for a penalty, and by the time the field catches back up to him, he should be put 2 laps down. And man, at that point, that would be almost 2/3 mark of this race. That's definitely a tough hole to crawl out of here at Atlanta.
Yeah, tough break, and now how you definitely want to start off the playoffs is. It's a tough hole to climb out of. Just not only you get 4 races, but the talent that is in that playoff bracket is just the odds. The beginning of that trial will scare me a little bit there. Ooh, man, these drivers have their handful, and this is really when we start to see it creep in. It was
Keedy Engstrom.
Yeah, that run up there. I don't know if this is what happened. This no disrespect to Keedy, but he was coming. The lines just weren't very straight earlier, and I don't know if that's what happened, and I don't know if he hit that commitment cone to come to pit road there in time. Boom.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it looks like he just got loose in the middle of 1 and 2, and then overcorrected potentially, or the truck just got really aero tight. Not entirely sure. Didn't get a good look at it, but obviously he's going to get checked up and get service done to that Dr. Pepper Chevrolet, and kind of like what you mentioned there with that, a previous incident. I can't remember. It might have been with, was it with the Davis cousins, one of the two, where they made contact, and then you said, hey, it'd be good to come down pit road. Well, obviously Keedy was listening to you there and that advice, and he comes down pit road immediately to try and reduce some of that damage and get back out and as high as he can in this one.
Yeah, and I think right here at especially at this spot, we've seen these guys go roughly 30 laps if it does go green, 30 to 32. So it would be a tight stretch, but he should be able to cycle back around and get most of those back, and that's if it doesn't, if hopefully it stays green. This is if you're Keedy, you don't want to see a caution right now with a couple of the guys that's already a lap down, being Tom Dixon and I believe it's or Justin Davis back there. But this is where you want these drivers, stay green, let me get my pit stop complete, let the cycle come through, and then maybe hope for one. But still not out of it. Some stuff needs to happen, but not where you want to be.
Yeah, definitely not a spot where you want to be, especially while they're working on lap number 69 at the moment. And you see, though, one of those names, Gabe Butler, is creeping his way back up towards the front. So is Cody Nagels now leading that outside lane. He's in a sea of Team Bootnaka drivers, but Gabe Butler coming back to the point here.
Yeah, these guys getting back up here, and we heard them. We heard them all season when they didn't win. They talked about, I would have done maybe this different, or I might have done this different here in the playoffs. These guys remember all of that, I think. They say, hey, I'm not going to make that same mistake again. And I think these drivers, I know we're 30 laps, but this is when I start to think the aggression starts to pick up just a little bit. As with these lines, the tires start to wear and these trucks start to wash up a little bit more and more. I think these drivers start to be a little bit less forgivable, if you know what I'm saying. And they say, hey, this is my spot and I got to keep it because this track position is so important.
Yeah, it makes such a huge difference there, having that track position, being in a position, to be up front. And obviously see 3 wide there for Paul Witt, and he is going to be a little high and maybe a little contact with the outside wall, but should be able to get down here, no problem, down on the back straightaway and avoid that issue. But yeah, definitely when we've seen 3 wide action tonight, it's definitely been some pretty tense moments so far.
Yeah, and if you're a guy like Joshua Highball, running 9th back there, that's gonna have to be where that third lane comes from. Cody Nagels, Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Vicente Guerrero, they're not gonna voluntarily go to the third lane, especially with how much that wall's been catching drivers tonight. So that's where it's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be somebody from back there to get that run up there and to really push the limit. I don't think we see, if this runs, stays this way, especially after the pit stops, those guys are gonna want the bottom lane and they're gonna do whatever they can to keep it.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the position that you kind of want to be in, and being up front, but especially being in that bottom lane. Obviously, the outside lane's working well, but for whatever reason, you can see that 16's kind of stalling out side by side with the leader, maybe, at his door, and can't seem to make too much more progress there. But we are slowly clicking away laps, and as we realize it here, we are within the fuel window to go to the end here just about. So looking to see if anybody's going to be taking that opportunity to pit early and pit for the last time, and see what they can do through the rest of this race.
Yeah, dude, Conrad, his truck looks like it is a handful right now. And I don't think the 16 is making that much movement. I don't see the 8 really, pushing them. As you can see, these guys are starting to get to the bottom. And I think that's what he was doing, was trying to get there. As Cody Nagel seen his spot and jumped in there. Now the 8's really got to hustle. If he can get up front and get to Everett Lane and get in the middle of those teammates, that will help him a lot coming to this pit road, be a little bit more comfortable knowing who's behind you and who's in front of you so you don't get ran over. So I see maybe the 8 truck maybe here to pick this up.
Yeah, and we see now they're starting to single out, and some of that outside lane is starting to break up a little bit more. So usually a pretty good telltale that the pit stops are coming soon, and they are getting ready for that moment here.
Yeah, and what's tough about it is those guys back there in the back, Jim Brooks, Dean Wilkinson, they're running 15th, but they're running about a second and a half off of this pack, and I just don't think you can pit early from back there. In different races, Talladega may be something different, but a second and a half, and you got to take that long turnaround, turn 3 and 4 on the apron, and you can't really speed it up. We can see somebody in the outside wall there as they were trying to go 3 wide. Looks like the 64 again, trying to push it for everything it's worth. Yeah, tough break there, and looks like somebody's going to hit the apron from that too.
Well, yeah, Les Levy there. But yeah, the 64 gets into the outside wall after going 3 wide, trying to get caught by the pack there. And we're going to see a couple trucks, looks like, coming down pit road this time by. It's going to be Hayden Davis and cousin Justin.
Yeah, this move right here, these two, that's okay because I think these guys, when they get out, they got to catch back up very quickly, make sure they're taking no tires, fuel only here, but get a little bit shorter fuel in the tank. They're only going to probably need about 10 laps of fuel, so maybe a can or less. So they might be able to gain some time here as these trucks out here start to go a little bit longer.
Yeah, hopefully they get a good opportunity there, and could still be a really great opportunity for them to rebound on the night. Obviously, they had to pit earlier because they pit just before the previous yellow, which I think really probably saved them from going any further down. Because obviously Hayden got the lucky dog and Justin was able to stay out entirely and get his lap back. So for those guys, they'll be lined up together as they come off of pit road, and hopefully they get a chance to link up together. And as you see this time by, Gabe Butler's going to lead a slew of drivers down pit road here. Quite a bit of trucks coming down. Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Robert Hooligan, Adam Kilday is in there. The 8 of Dude Conrad, Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, Doug Webb, Jim Duda, Jim Brooks, and Les Levy further on back. Ooh, a little spin for the 62. It's the wall, and man, they bunched up a ton ahead of them, tried to see where some of the playoff drivers are, and man, it's calamity on pit road coming down here.
Yeah, this was a huge group to come down here. This first group, almost a ton of the playoff drivers, and we're going to see our second round here led by Dean Wilkinson. He was leading, is leading the race right now, and we know he knows how to get down to speed coming to this pit road. Is it's going to get tight back there also?
Man, yeah, and not a little more organized, but obviously they had about a third or at least half of the trucks that came down that first time. So we'll see where everybody else comes out on pit road. And Cody Nagels is going to come out first. It looks like just ahead of Gabe Butler. Then you've got Everett Lane and Jim Brooks lined up there in a good position. Adam Kilday, Robert Hooligan, Dude Conrad, and Vicente Guerrero there. Jack Walls, Joshua Highball coming off of pit road here, and we'll hang on to, actually a caution out on the speedway, and we're trying to figure out exactly where that came from.
Yeah, I'm going to guess somebody maybe gassed it up too quick leaving pit exit here.
Yeah, see if we can see what's going on. Trying to find a truck that was potentially involved, and not entirely sure. Oh, there we go. Hey, we found it. 714 of Doug Webb. All right, so we'll take it back with him to the point of caution and try to understand what happened here. And you see by now all the way around is the 714, so we'll back it up and rewind there and try to see if it's just pushing too hard, potentially coming off of pit road. And you see he's on the flatter portion of the apron. You see how much more banking the 85 and the 126 have by being in that higher lane. And for whatever reason, the 714 down on the flatter portion of that apron, not able to get that power down, and goes for a bit of a spin here.
Yeah, and that changes everything. Up there where Dude is right now, you can be about half, three-quarter throttle and it maybe be all right. Down there where the 714 is, if you push that throttle even just a second too quick, it is going to come around on you, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do. Fortunate for a lot of those guys. I think Eric Laurie maybe had a penalty. I seen him still sitting in pit road. So luckily these guys got a caution, because a lot of times right there where he's at, it doesn't throw it. So it's going to make one heck of an interesting finish here.
Yeah, I think we'll see how that nets out for Eric Laurie, but could be a saving grace for him. He had a pit road speeding penalty on that green flag pit stop, but it's going to be Jack Walls who pit on lap 80. So this is the group that pit last. Him, Joshua Highball, Bud Steele, Anthony Lane, Dean Wilkinson, and David Overstreet had the track position at the time, and they are going to be competing for the lead here. But before we get to the last 20 laps or so of this exciting race, another word from one of our sponsors.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
A little bit of a technical glitch there, and you actually got to see two of our sponsors there under the caution. But Jack Walls, you see here, and not entirely sure where the pace car is at the moment, but it seems like a couple drivers are actually getting waved around the pace truck or the pace car. So a lot of our leaders here are going around the pace car. We'll have to see if we can understand exactly why this is happening, but it'll be Jack Walls should be your leader here.
Yeah, this is good old iRacing. If there is a caution while there are pit stops going on, iRacing will be sure to throw a wrench in everything going on to make sure your admins can figure some stuff out, because this seems like this is something iRacing always happens here. But our admins are going to get it straightened out, and it's going to give us one heck of a first race playoff finish here. Is some of these guys, we're starting to see it. Vicente Guerrero, he's going to restart 13th. Some of these guys are going to have a ways to go in a short amount of time. Boom. They're going to have to use that third lane we were talking about, maybe.
Yeah, you could say they've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, and we're caught back up to the pace truck, and I think that's going to put a couple trucks here in the eligibility for a wave around, and it looks like that's going to include Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Doug Webb, and that'll be it ahead of our leaders here. Gary Huffines actually will also be waved around. And should get one of his laps back here. So, yeah, we'll try to keep an eye on it and try to understand, but it might be a little bit more pacing before we get back to green flag action.
Yeah, that's good. Let these drivers tighten up them 4D racewear gloves and get everything situated, get comfortable, get your plans right with your teammates, and make sure everything's in the right spot and everything's ready to go.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of extra time to kind of settle the nerves. Maybe not a bad thing here, as we're going to have 16 laps to go, and drivers are going to have to be prepared for an all-out battle to the end here, because everybody can make it on fuel and tires, and yeah, just a good old-fashioned short run to the finish line.
Yeah, and how about that 101 in the playoffs, and been pretty quiet all year and just doing what he needs to do every single week, and he's going to find himself here going to lead looking like the outside row to come back to this start. So it's where you want to be with 15 laps or so to go at Atlanta.
Yeah, indeed, definitely where you want to be, and it looks like actually we are green flag, so that's going to put, oh, nope, yellow is back out on the speedway. So for whatever reason, the pace car left the surface and allowed us to go back to green. And I think that should give the opportunity for the pace truck to pick up the 83 of Jack Walls, which will effectively wave Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Doug Webb, Paul Witt, and Gary Huffines around. So we'll see where this picks up here, but definitely a bit of an issue there. As you mentioned, Brandon, it's really tough for sometimes iRacing just isn't able to get all of the positions accurate as a yellow comes out, especially in the middle of a pit cycle. And I mean, even for for NASCAR and a tower in any racing series, it can be difficult. But obviously, some glitches here tonight for iRacing with the way and the timing of that caution falling.
Yeah, and you hate to see it happen, but for a guy like me that loves exciting racing, you love to see it, because we're going to lose about 2 or 3 laps here, which is all right. It's all right. These just means the third lane, instead of it being there on lap 3 to go, it's going to be there with about, I think, 10 to go. A lot of these drivers, a lot of these guys have two fast repairs in the back pocket. We haven't talked about that much tonight. Single car spins, or as we just seen coming off pit road spin there. A lot of these guys can still repair these trucks a couple times. So if I'm Joshua Highball, Dean Wilkinson, these guys up here, I'm swinging for the fences. You're gonna have to put it to me to pass me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, since it isn't technically a caution, it is another chance to hear from one of our sponsors. We're going to not cut the Whiplash SimCams commercial short this time, and we'll hear from them, and we'll be right back. Lights go out on the pace car, and 2 by 2 they will line up. Jack Walls will be the control truck. Definitely has been in position here towards the front for quite a bit of this race, obviously controlling a lot of the earlier stages, and he's back up there now. He's got teammate Bud Steele just behind him, and we've got the 101 of Joshua Highball and the 81 of Anthony Lane there in the outside lane, and a couple of teammates there for Silver Fox Racing, having a pretty solid night there tonight, and some of the Roswell Motorsports guys there lined up nose to tail inside. Some of the TW Motorsports guys, you got Dean Wilkinson up here, David Overstreet in that number 46 machine. Inside the top 6, Bob Fitzgerald, Adam Kilday, Dude Conrad, Hayden Davis, all there within about the top 10, as we'll be ready to go with 11 laps at the stripe.
Yeah, I peeked in. I seen TW had a race up the other night. I hopped in there and spectated for a little bit. Hey, those guys got some wheelmen too. I watched all the way to the end. That was one heck of a race, and they were deep too. So them TW boys, they know how to get it done. I can't wait to see us go back to Talladega in a couple weeks. But here at Atlanta, Jack Walls, Joshua Highball, they're gonna bring us back to it here. But still right up there, along with Anthony Lane, Dean Wilkinson, David Overstreet. These guys up here, they're ready to take the gloves off, and I think box this out. Boom is we're back green.
Green flag back in the air here at Atlanta. Echo Park Speedway 83 with the push from the teammate behind him. The outside lane getting going pretty well there. A little bit of a disconnection through 1 and 2, and the 6 gets right to the back bumper of that 83, and we have a caution.
Yeah, it was getting 3 wide back there quick. It didn't even make it to lap 10. Boom. They was 3 wide in the tri-oval. As we can see, Jim Brooks trying to get it spun back around there.
Grabbed the wrong replay spot, but looks like Jim Brooks involved, and yeah, just a little bit of not enough room there. The 429 has had a tough time getting into turn number 1 here tonight, but the 51 of Jim Brooks just maybe not giving him enough room. Obviously, the 429 already on the apron there, and they're going to make some contact and spin around, and that's going to be some probably at least some I'm assuming right sides, but probably some 4 fresh tires there for that 51 as he gets spun around and probably flat spotted those tires, unfortunately. So we did not go green for long, but now Jack Walls and Bud Steele are going to be lined up side by side. Joshua Highball, then Dean Wilkinson, then Anthony Lane, and we'll have another chance to re-rack and stack and get ready for another restart.
Yeah, I took one restart for Cody Nagels and Gabe Butler. They're already made their way back in to the top 10, and I seen Hayden Davis pop back into the top 10. So turning it around there for that 19 truck.
Yeah, not bad at all. And good to see him back up in the top 10. Obviously, a couple cautions ago was in a spot where he was a couple laps down and was able to come down pit road after an incident, and now he's back on the lead lap and inside the top 10, so a good recovery for him. We go back. Tom Dixon's the first truck 1 lap down. And then you see Paul Witt there. He is 1 lap down as well for the playoff drivers. And then Keedy Ingstrom 3 laps down behind them. So unfortunately, not the night that they were hoping to have. Still a little bit of time to recover there. Obviously, Paul Witt's going to have to win that lucky dog battle against Tom Dixon. But for Keedy Ingstrom, that opportunity window is closing rather fast for him. But we got another caution, which, as you know, means another chance to talk to or hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll do that now, and we'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Lucky number 7 laps to go on this restart here. The control truck once again is Jack Walls, now the teammate of Bud Steele to his outside. Dean Wilkinson's going to line up behind the 6. That's going to put the 2 teammates, Joshua Highbaugh and Anthony Lane, nose to tail. Cody Nagels in that outside lane. Dude Conrad just behind him. The Hayden Davis number 19 machine, 46 of Overstreet to his inside. And you see the 88 of Gabe Butler there just inside the top 10. And here we go. Pace car onto pit road about now, and green flag momentarily.
Yeah, going to be a good start here. Jack Walls, Bud Steele. Jack made the playoffs. Bud had missed a couple races, but it still shows these guys are one of the best in Area 51 to do it as they find them restarting here with 7 laps to go. But I tell you what, that 55 truck behind him, Dean Wilkinson, he's hungry. He's been close a few times this year, hasn't got it done. What it would be a way to start off, as you can see, a big push there by the 16 to the 101 of Joshua Highball as that inside lane starts to move as dude Conrad moves down to it.
Yeah, the 81 of Anthony Lane didn't quite get going. Ooh, they're wrecking further on back. The 85 is sideways, but we're still going to stay green, okay, for now. The 83 of Jack Wall, still the control truck in the front, but the 16 gets there, and he's going to try and push the issue to that middle lane. No, he's going to jump to the bottom, but he is the third truck in line there, and the 16 and the 8 both dive down in front of the 81 as he didn't get a great restart there. That leaves the 6 and the 55 to that outside lane, and then the 19 of Hayden Davis gets promoted there to about 6th, 7th place as they run, and we are going to be 5 laps to go at the stripe this time by.
Yeah, we've seen quite a driver sneak up on, these guys and steal one from them. What would it be to see one of these guys not in the playoffs come in and take the first win here at Atlanta? Half of the top 10 right now, most of the drivers up here are not in the playoffs. What it would be for some motivation for next season and the rest of this season to snag one of these as Jack Wall still leads them going into turn 3.
Yeah, and look, Joshua Highbaugh now leading those playoff drivers just ahead of Cody Nagels. He's got a good pusher behind him. He's got a really good driver in front of him in Jack Walls, and we'll see what he can do to come home with a solid night tonight. Jack Walls and the 80, or in the 83 and the 6 to his outside, they're doing everything they can to bring a win home for Roswell Motorsports on the season, and a good night so far for a couple of our playoff drivers as we see 4 of them there in the top 8.
Yeah,
Ooh, 3
somebody
wide.
here. Yeah, Gabe's going to have to push it. That's what I was talking about earlier. It's not going to come from up here. It's going to have to come from about 9th, 10th. That's where it's going to have to come from. And you're going to have to make the move. As you can see, Gabe, we got 3 to go. This is when you got to get there because it's going to take a couple laps. And not only that, but the drivers got to know, hey, that run's coming from that outside so they know how to approach it also.
Yeah, and that's almost something for the 19. Like, that at 88 is going to want to go to the high side. And if you got a chance and he takes a run, you might as well go with him to see what you can do to move your position further forward. But right now it's a bit of a stalemate, still side by side the way that we restarted a few laps ago. 2 to go at the stripe this time by.
Yeah, if I'm the 19, I'm the first one to jump out. I'm not in the playoffs. This is my first season. Hey, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to jump out there. And the 88's going to go because he wants to get up there and pass the 16 and those other playoff drivers that's not leading. So I would be the first one to jump on it. 2 laps to go at Atlanta. Hey, risk it for the biscuit, baby.
Ooh, they're going to do it there, and they're going to slide and spin. Is that going to bring out a yellow? Oh, they're going to get back to the white, and that is going to end it. So we are going to race back to the line. Jack Walls leading Joshua Highbaugh and the 16 of Cody Nagels, the 8 of Dude Conrad, and the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. That shakes up the lead quite a bit there. No second lane forming. Does the 101 have the opportunity? Is he going to jump to the high side with the 16 down the back straightaway? Nobody has much of a run. 83 uncontested at the moment, but here comes the 16 and the 8. Is it going to be enough off of turn number 4? Too little too late. Jack Walls is going to be victorious.
Man, what a heck of a run by that 83. Not going to be able to make it here for the playoffs. He's going to miss a couple races, but if he was here, he would have kicked it off with a boom. Got that truck up front and ran one heck of a line. Made it real easy, it looked like, there for the 101 to push, and the 16 ended up making it right back up there to get a top 3. Dean Wilkinson once again right in that top 5, but not able to get the win. But good playoff start there for him, as some guys took some big licks there coming to the white flag.
Yeah, and apologies, we didn't get a chance to see all of it. Obviously, the yellow flag did not fly. The white flag came out, which meant race back to the line, and Jack Walls was the one in position there, uncontested to the win, getting his, I think his second win on the season, actually. Good season for him so far. We'll double check those stats in a moment, but and we'll go through some of your official results. But man, what a run at the end there that was, Brandon.
Yeah, that's actually Jack's first win this season. So he won the starter last season in the same 83 truck, and now he's gonna win the starter of this playoffs. And man, he knows how to get around Atlanta. He's pretty good here.
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies for the mistake there, but yeah, thanks for the correction. So the first win on the season for Jack Wall has been a little bit, but getting back to victory lane, and even if you're not in the playoffs, it's still a sweet, sweet feeling. And we'll get a chance to talk to him in just a minute, as well as Joshua Heibaugh and Cody Nagels here, your top three finishers. Dean Wilkinson, a really solid run for TW Motorsports there within the playoffs, and he is in a good position there. Dude Conrad in the fifth position, rounding out the top five. Anthony Lane there had a pretty good opportunity for tonight, coming home in the sixth position. Eric Laurie in that 071. He's one of those drivers in the playoffs here, and a good finish for him and his teammate Gabe Butler. Doug Webb had a bit of an up and down night, but to recover and still finish ninth is not a bad night at all. Bob Fitzgerald, a very quiet top 10 for him, but hey, sometimes that's all you need to do is click off those good finishes. And a top 10, I would say, is always going to be a good opportunity. We saw Vicente Guerrero get caught up, I think, in that that issue on the last lap, and I think most of the rest of these drivers are going to be in that same boat with Les Levy and Adam Kilday there, about 4 seconds behind our leaders. You go back to Robert Amaral in the 14th position, then David Overstreet, who was in a great position for a lot of the night tonight, and then slips back after what should have been, I'm assuming, some contact there towards the end. Everett Lane had a really good opportunity at a couple different points, and then Justin Davis and Hayden Davis, an up and down night for them, making a really great recovery, and unfortunately also swept up in the issues on the last lap, or coming to the white flag there. But still P20, top 20 finish for those guys. Paul Witt's going to come home in the 20th position, and Bud Steele will be just ahead of him there in that 19th position for Roswell Motorsports. Tom Dixon in the 411, 1 lap down. Jim Duda a lap down. We saw Jim Brooks go for a spin late, and he's going to finish 2 laps down. Keedy Engstrom, we saw the issues with him under green flag conditions, and he ends up going down 3 laps and unable to recover. Robert Hooligan, 4 laps down, and then Gary Huffines, technically our first retiree of the night, and a tough night for that 00, as he was involved in more than one incident, I believe, on the night. Definitely a couple in there for Gary, and yeah, so that'll bring up opportunities to talk to some people. So the first one we get to talk to is going to be the 16 of Cody Nagels here, and definitely a little bit of chaos here and there throughout the race, but able to put yourself in good position towards the end and come home with that third place finish here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't my best performance by any means, but I mean, I'll take a P3 to the finish. I think I probably, it's about a best case scenario for me, but it's a good solid start to the playoffs, and we'll see. Next week's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be a little interesting because I have a softball tournament that starts Friday night, but I have to wait and see how the schedule starts, because the tournament is 2 hours away, and I might have to find someone to cover for me for the first game. So it's going to be a very, very, very busy night, because I was planning on skipping if I had a bad finish in this race, but it's good enough. So I think I'm probably going to have to show up next week, or at least find a way to.
Yeah, we definitely hope you can make it, and tonight with this racing, how it was exciting. I'm gonna call it exciting because you didn't know what to expect, and how was that from the driver's seat? I know you guys like to be up front, and some cautions at crazy times caused you not to be, and so how did that, when this started happening with all these cautions, how did you really start to approach it?
We had a very much a split strategy, because the caution came out. It looked like we were going to cycle, as the leaders, and I was the lead car of that first group. But the timing of the caution put me back to P8, and Vince had already took 4 tires, and he wasn't even going to have the lead pack. But we were all torn on like what the strategy call was. Vince wanted the grip, where I said I wanted the track position. But where the caution came out, I lost my track position, and then they were trying to convince me to pit, and I was like, no, I think I can wheel it good enough to stay up here. And I'm glad I did, because it just looked like it was caution after caution, and it gave me enough time to cool my right front off, and I was able to set the nose of the car entering the corners. And I didn't really have a shot to win the race there at the end, but my spotter was telling me to get more aggressive, and I just didn't see a need on it, because if I cause a wreck or I'm involved in a wreck, one bad finish could end the championship run for me. So I was good kind of where I was. Start off with a P3, and yeah, to me it's good momentum and puts me right where I need to be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned, unfortunately, maybe have to skip a game next week for the love of iRacing and a chance to compete in the championship. But I mean, obviously, coming back and running full time with the league, we've seen a really great season for you, both on here on Friday nights in the trucks and on Sunday nights as well. So it's definitely been a good opportunity there. But how do you obviously this has got to be some momentum. I think you've had a decent amount throughout the season, but how do you kind of carry this into the next couple weeks and continue to try and capitalize on those good finishes here late in the season?
Um, I think really it's just about like you gotta pile on the good finishes and just you take the wins when you can get them. Like if it's there for you, go for it. But you don't want to put yourself running for a championship. You can't put yourself in a position to jeopardize your championship just to try to gain a position or two. I think that there was a couple times where I really had to move. I think to split because the lanes were like so far apart. Like it was very clear that I could have split, but if I happen to cause anything and it involves me, I'm not going to have people very happy with me. And, it just one wreck could end my season because you got guys like Gabe that are consistent enough to just, top 10 and top 5 me to death. And there's really no way to run that down. So, I start with a top 3. I go a leg up on Gabe. I've got to run down, Jack and Josh because I think they're both in the playoffs. So I'll have a little bit of running down to do, but I think again it just puts me right where I need to. I don't. I think I can win the championship without a win. So if I get one, I get one. But if I can just top 5 everyone to death, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Well, obviously, starting off on the right foot here at the beginning of the playoffs with, just as you mentioned, that opportunity coming in third tonight. And to clarify, Jack Walls did give up his spot in the playoffs, but obviously Joshua Highbaugh is going to be the highest finisher in the playoffs, but you'll be right there, you and Dean Wilkinson, and then goes a little bit further on back for a couple other playoff drivers that had some issues tonight. But yeah, so obviously, think it's time to roll out that red carpet for you, see if there's any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for that third place finish here tonight, Cody.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Want to thank my teammates at Nightmare Esports for what they do, helping me tonight, and hopefully, hey, hold on here. Sorry, I got a freaking kid in the background freaking making fart noises. But no, gotta thank my teammates for what they do. Hopefully we can bring home the championship. But I want to give a big shout out to my spotter Ethan for coming in and helping me strategize and the team strategize a little bit in this race. So we go into next week a little bit more cut and dry versus I feel like this can be a little bit more of a crapshoot only because of the ill-timed cautions and everything. But we're through Atlanta and I think we're smooth sailing now.
Good deal. Well, good luck to you through the rest of the playoffs here, Cody, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you very soon once again.
Thanks, Boomer.
Alrighty, that was Cody Nagels in that number 16 truck in a good position to finish there tonight in that third spot. We're going to bring in Silver Fox Racing's Joshua Highbaugh coming home in the second place and plus 19 on the night. The hardest charger, highest climber, whatever you want to call it, but a solid finish for you tonight, Joshua. That's got to feel good to open this round of the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, and be the highest finishing playoff driver.
Yeah, I got to thank my SFR teammate Anthony Lane and Robert Aramall, man. They worked really well with me the first half of the race. They kept me in good spot. Kept telling me which lines were opening up. I had a couple guys in there that were kind of spotting overhead, telling me what everybody was doing. I got into Gary Huffin's during that first green flag pit cycle. Some guys didn't call out pits, and I expect that everybody does during the playoffs. And he kind of checked up a little bit. I went low, and I thought he would get back in it, and I wanted to apologize to him. I didn't dump him on purpose, but that's a part of draft racing. As soon as somebody checks up, you got to either react or be part of it. But no, we had a really good run. I was committed there at the end to the 83. I was not going to get off his inside hip no matter what. and I was trying. He was kind of flickering a little bit. Jack was, so I kind of laid back a little bit on corner entry, just so we wouldn't get no net code. Because last thing I want to do is take him out on corner entry or through the center of a corner coming around to the white flag.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point that you make there, and I really like that point you just made right there. You know, you recognize the blink, and that's what I was going to ask you. As soon as you said you were comfortable not trying to make the move, was that the mindset coming in, like you just want to get as many points as you can and do as much as you can here, or was it I just want to try to get up front and try to win?
Everybody wants that. We're all race car drivers, and we all have the mentality of we want to win, but at what expense do you want to do it? Do you want to do it taking a chance at the end right there? There's a time. I believe there's a time and a place for everything. That wasn't the time or the place. Cody was pushing the hell out of me, and I was trying to stay off Jack just enough so I wouldn't give him a bad bump. Um, but when I seen Cody, Bud Steele was on the outside of me. Bud got loose. It looked like he got in the right rear a little bit, and I knew right then that some people only took lefts or some people only took rights, and the outside groove wasn't what it was prior to our 8 laps of caution flags in a row. So I'm sure Cody could have had a good run on the outside if he had help, and I would have let him go. I wouldn't even contested it. As a matter of fact, I had a couple guys on my headset tell me, "All right, go up, go up, go up now." And I said, "Nope, I'm staying low. I'm staying committed to Jack. I'm gonna make sure he wins this thing." And he's not a teammate. Um, I'm the only SFR guy who made it through the playoffs, but my guys are still showing up every night and they said they're gonna help try and get me to the front as much as they can. So
Yeah, definitely had a chance to do that tonight, and a really great finish for you there, Joshua. And yeah, so you've got obviously fairly new to the series, starting here in 2025 in the first season here on the season. Obviously, we're in the second one already, but you know. To make the playoffs and be in that position is awesome. Especially, I know you mentioned you're the only one from your teammates that made it, but you've got 24 starts on your belt. This is your sixth top five. You're starting to stack up some more better finishes. I mean, obviously to make it into the playoffs is a pretty high mark. I mean, for being fairly new to the league, like where's your expectations at? What are you looking forward to, or what are your goals as you come to finish? What'll be the second season of experience here in Area 51.
uh, you know, I haven't really even thought about it, but mainly finishing a top five. This is a very, very tough, competitive league right here on Fridays and on Sundays. And these guys have been doing this a long time. I've only been on iRacing for a year. I'm not a very big super speedway guy, so I figured this would help my super speedway genre out a little bit. And it has. It has in a lot of ways. I had to learn some qualifying quirks, some pit strategy quirks, to pick up a little bit time here and there. Knowing who you can pit with, knowing who you can run with on the track is a huge thing. Learning tendencies of other drivers. Cody and Gabe, they're top notch. I give them all the respect in the world because them guys are fast. They, like they said with old Dale Earnhardt, he can see the air. Them two are very good at super speedway. So if you can put yourself in that kind of uh, forte, if I could say, with them people, then you're doing something right. And that's I really enjoy this league. I enjoy racing it. Um, it is a tough field of competitors, and you on a track like Atlanta, it's almost longevity. If you put yourself in the right spot at the right time, you can get a good finish. Um, Talladega, Daytona, on the other hand, them are still some of my demons that I'm trying to bear with there. But uh, yeah, we usually run pretty good at Atlanta. But I'll take luck over skill any day of the week. But
Yeah, definitely.
it's a very trying track with the truck's new aero package, with their handling package, their tire deal. Um, Tires don't wear the same as what they did earlier in the year, in trucks. So it's a learning curve, and if you can just have good finishes and be competitive and have the respect to other people as being a clean driver and not doing it the wrong way, then that's all I ask for.
Yeah, and I mean, like you mentioned, it seems like you've had, you're kind of doing the things that you wanted to be doing and putting yourself in position. Obviously, about 25% top five percentage for you now in your 24 starts here in the Superspeedway series. So, like you said, just kind of doing what you need to do and being in the right position, and obviously a pretty solid finish for you there tonight. So at that time, now we'll roll that red carpet out for you for any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give for that second place finish there tonight, Joshua.
All right. Just SFR guys, you guys for a great broadcast. Charles for hosting the league. The Brooks guys, you guys are awesome too. You guys rock. So um, just I plan on seeing y'all Sunday, and let's have a good time Sunday. Hopefully we can back it up with another good top 5 or a top 10 there to start off the playoffs.
Yeah, good deal. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to you on Sunday as well then, Joshua. Well, good luck to you, and hopefully we get a chance to talk to you very soon.
All right. Thanks, you guys. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too, buddy. Alrighty, that brings up our final interview, which will be with Roswell Motorsports' Jack Walls in the number 83, getting the first win on the season after winning the season opener last year, or earlier this year, I should say. Definitely gotta feel good to get back in the win column for you there, Jack, and get back into victory lane here.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I got to put the champagne down here. Put it down, guys. I got to talk on the radio here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, how about that? Winner, chicken dinner for the yellow Delaware Blue Hen truck.
Yeah, heck of a run there, Jack. You got it up there, and you missed some races, and now you're gonna miss some races, I should say. So first off, I want to say hats off. Thanks for being unselfish and giving that spot to somebody else. And I tell you what, these drivers probably benefit from it, because if you drive the way you did tonight, they would have been in trouble. And how'd you maneuver through all that? This race was up on the wheel type of race.
Yeah, well, you're up on the wheel, but I think the key is being out front so you avoid the wrecks and the cautions, and then that worked out for me. And then on lap 52, I, changed all 4 tires, and that was going to be it for me. And I think that paid off. On my last pit stop, I didn't take any tires, and I don't know if that's when I came out in first because I lucked out with the caution timing and all that. So, and then it was just me and Bud up front, and we were going to try and stay side by side as best we could. And unfortunately, he fell off there towards the very end, the last couple laps. I thought that was it for me. I thought Joshua was going to pass me on the outside, but he stayed behind me in that 101, so I really appreciate that. Wouldn't have won it without him.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like and he mentioned in his interview that he was pretty committed to you there at that point, wanting to make sure that, he could be in a good spot and you can get that win there. And definitely helps to have some friends, even if they aren't teammates out there. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, obviously you gave up your spot, very valiant thing to do, and we appreciate that for, I think you'll be missing a few races here, but it's got to feel pretty good that that you were one of the drivers that would have made the playoffs, and to get the first win here of the playoffs has got to be a pretty decent feeling to know that, hey, I can get the job done, and I can do it when it counts and matters most.
Yeah. I think it's been a long time since I was in victory lane here in Area 51, so it does feel pretty good. So I'm glad, in the fall we do some traveling to see family in other states, and it's only the right thing to do to give up my spot if I make the playoffs.
Well, definitely a very, honorable thing to do for you, Jack, and bummed that we'll be missing you in some of the races here towards the end of the season, but hopefully we can see that Delaware Blue Hens truck back in victory lane once again before the season's over. But we'll roll that red carpet out for you now and give you any top opportunities for thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for that win here tonight.
Okay, well, I guess first of all, thanks Joshua Highball for the push there, those last laps. Couldn't have done it without him. Thanks to my teammates, Bud Steele, Gary Huffines, and Jim Brooks. And, thanks to Bud there towards the end, we were working together as best we could. And I got to thank Bud for painting my truck and doing that Delaware Blue Hen truck for me. My son went to the University of Delaware, so that's why I raced that paint, and Bud took care of me. And, of course, thanks to everyone in the league and all the drivers. That's what makes it fun racing in Area 51. And, of course, we got to thank Green White Checker. Thank you guys for all you do. I just love watching the broadcast the day after the race.
Yeah, well, we definitely enjoy bringing it to you guys, all the action, just as much as you guys probably enjoy being in the trucks and racing here on Fridays and Sundays and Tuesdays and everything. So congratulations to you, Jack. Bummed again that we won't get to see you for every race for the rest of the season, but when we do, hopefully get a chance to talk to you, and good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, well, thank you very much. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, you as well, Jack. We appreciate that. So, Brandon, that was a bit of an eventful race. We saw one green flag pit cycle, but the yellow comes out, and as Jack mentions, he was the beneficiary of that in the right place at the right time, and was the one to pit last. Pretty much everybody that pit in that group on lap 80 was in a good spot. Obviously, Jack Walls, Joshua Heibaugh, Dean Wilkinson, Anthony Lane in the top 6 were all in that group that came down and were coming off of pit road as the caution flew. So that track position really made a big difference towards the end. But, I mean, Jack Walls really controlled a good portion of this race from early on and just kind of picked up where he left off once he got back that track position.
Yeah, it was dominant, and we spoke about it early in the race, with those guys that were going to have to use the third lane and why, nobody would even chance of go up there, just of how important, the inside lane was. And but what really caught my ear through these interviews was how many of these guys, especially I know here at Atlanta, but they were using spotters and bringing in some guys. And so if you don't think winning at Area 51 means something, that says a lot. This running here and running up front and winning a championship is definitely something that you want on your record. So it was some exciting racing, everything I thought it was going to be, and Daytona, I think, is going to be a lot more chill and until the end. So I think it's going to be right back to these guys' wheelhouse.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, we mentioned at the top of the show, Atlanta's a little bit of the wild card to start the playoffs here, and then even as Cody Nagels mentioned in his interview, that's going to be kind of back to the bread and butter of Daytona next week, and then Talladega to close out the season. So we'll bring up that schedule for you there. You can see on your screen. So obviously we're through the race tonight here at Atlanta. So next week on October 3rd, it's going to be Daytona International Speedway as we close out the second race of the playoffs. We're going to take 1 week off, and then we're going to have Talladega on October 17th and 24th, and we will be ready for some really great action to close out the season. On Sundays, obviously, we got pretty much the same schedule, so just add 2 days to it. So September 28th, we'll be here in the booth, me and Brandon Briggs, calling the action for the first race of the round of playoffs for the Sunday Xfinity Superspeedway Series. And then Daytona will be next week on Sunday for them, so 9 days from now. And obviously they'll take the same off week and be back at Talladega to close out their season. So I mean, lots of fun, lots of excitement here as we get towards the end of the season, both on in the playoffs on Fridays and on Sundays, and obviously the schedule for the Area 51 Tuesday IndyCar Racing Series is still alive and well. They are going to be, actually they were headed to Charlotte this past week, and they will be at Michigan next on October 7th. With a week off, they'll be at New Hampshire on the 21st, and then they've got Vegas on November 4th and Indianapolis, which is a double points race, and the season finale on November 18th. So lots of opportunities left to pay attention to in the 2025 calendar year here, and lots of excitement ready to go. But so obviously we talked about Atlanta a little bit of a wild card compared to some of the other bread and butter Talladega and Daytonas that we've gone to for years and years and years, Brandon. But what kind of stands out to you from tonight that was something that we saw that you might not get to see at either Talladega or Daytona in the next couple weeks?
Just that, I mean, Daytona, it's just so much narrower, and it's going to be, I think, even it's just the calmest to me of them all. But compared to Talladega, really, is just the end, how quickly the action happens at Talladega and Daytona. You really got to build your run up, and the guys really know more of it coming. Here at Atlanta, everything just happens so fast. That you really don't have time to react compared to the other ones. So I think, as everybody said it, this one's just so much faster pace, and we'll slow it down a little bit, even though they'll still be going 200 mile an hour at these other tracks. And I love Atlanta. I'm glad it kicked it off. It was a perfect kickoff race for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you got a little bit of action, a little bit of calamity, not too much, and a really exciting finish to the end there. So that was definitely a lot of fun to get to see, and really appreciate all the drivers here and all the people who make this whole league happen. And obviously, everyone, pretty much everyone in their interviews thanks us for what we do. And like I said, it's a pleasure. It truly is a pleasure to bring this stuff to you. Obviously, we appreciate our boss here at Green White Checker TV, Guy L. Brooks, Jim Brooks, and all the admins here, Charles Johnson, Gabe Butler, and all the work that those guys do to make sure that this series runs smoothly on obviously Fridays and Sundays and Tuesdays, and all the things that go on behind the scenes. So appreciate everybody. It's a lot of fun always to get a chance to bring this to you. Obviously some really exciting racing that's going to happen here in the next couple weeks. So do not miss out. Make sure you're setting your reminders, your calendars. Hey, I got to watch this Area 51 race on Green White Checker TV. Sunday's the next one, and it'll be the first race of the playoffs for the Xfinity Series, and I promise you, you're not going to want to miss that one either. So we appreciate all of you tuning in, watching the race back, or if you were here live and in the chat, we appreciate everybody helping us out and hanging out with us, and I think that's about it. So for myself, Boomer Logan, for my good friend Brandon Briggs up here in the booth, we will say goodnight and hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you in the next one.